Good evening. I would like to call to order our September the 15th, 2020 Little Rock City Board of Directors meeting. We would also like to welcome to those that are in attendance as well as those watching online and streaming. We would also like to welcome Directors Hendricks, Richardson, Webb, Fortson, and Vice Mayor Wyrick, who are participating with us via video conferencing. Madam Clerk, if you would, please call the roll.
Director Hendricks. Here. Director Richardson.
Here.
Director Webb.
Here.
Director Peck.
Here.
Director Hines.
Present.
Director Wright. Here. Director Campuris.
Present.
Director Fortson.
Here.
Director Adcock.
Present.
Vice Mayor Wyrick. Mayor Scott.
Here. Director Fortson, if you would, please give us the invocation.
Thank you, Mayor. Would you join me in prayer? Our God, we thank you for this opportunity to gather together to look after the city's business. We are thankful for this day. We're thankful to live in a free country where the opportunity to guide our own affairs does exist. We ask your guidance for our business tonight. We ask your looking after guidance for our first responders and especially our healthcare workers in the times of this pandemic. Keep us safe, keep us working for the good of this city. We ask these things in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. May we all stand for a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a Peace Week proclamation I will take some time to read. Whereas our lives continue to be scarred by the consequences of violence and war in our communities, our state, our country, and across the world, and whereas Little Rock Peace Week is a program of activities with a mission to educate and promote peacemaking in our society and raise awareness of organizations working to build a lasting peace in Arkansas. During the third week of September, in observance of the United Nations International Day of Peace, Arkansas Peace Week includes numerous events hosted by dozens of organizations throughout the state. These events feature education, service, dialogue, and outreach activities promoting our mission. And the 2020 theme for the International Day of Peace is Shaping Peace Together. We will spread compassion, kindness, and hope in the face of the pandemic. And Little Rock Peace Week will partner with the Little Rock School District and the Central High School National Historic Site to provide Arkansas's youth education, service, and outreach activities. Whereas the lessons learned and relationships formed during this week create a foundation for continuing a sustainable peace in our society throughout the year. Now, therefore, I, Frank Scott Jr., Mayor of the City of Little Rock, Arkansas, and the City of Little Rock Board of Directors do hereby proclaim September 20th through the 27th as Little Rock Peace Week. Mr. Carpenter, before we start the consent agenda, could you please make the board aware?
For members of the board, I was contacted by the Friday firm. They have an item on the agenda today, number 7, which deals with the port bond issue. There has been a request that the Friday firm also do some legal work on the land title, which technically qualifies as a conflict, which you can waive. It's not an irrevocable conflict, and I would recommend that it be waived. I think the mayor's already been willing to approve it, but we just need to make it known, and Mr. Marshall's here to address it further. Or Mr. Taylor Marshall. He's got the two last names and I never get them right. But in any event, the party doesn't have a problem. There's no reason for us to have a problem, but we do have it on our policies that we need to bring them to y'all's attention.
Any questions? Any questions from the board? Notification has been notified. Thank you, Mr. Marshall. Madam Clerk, if you would, please read the consent agenda.
The consent agenda consists of a motion to approve the minutes of the August 18th, 2020 Little Rock City Board of Directors meeting, a resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with McClarty Ford for a total purchase price of $61,880.92 for the purchase of 2 Ford Transit vans for the Public Works Department Services, Building Services Division, and for the purposes funding from the 3/8 capital improvement sales tax. A resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with River City Hydraulics Incorporated an amount not to exceed $165,534.29 for the purchase of a Power Pack 1,013-yard rear loader for the Parks and Recreation Department and for the purposes funding from the 3/8 capital improvement sales tax. A resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Parks and Recreation Foundation of Arkansas for the development of mountain bike trails at River Mountain Park and Two Rivers Park, and for the purposes funding from the 3/8 capital improvement sales tax. A resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Nolan Construction Incorporated in the amount of $73,000 for the repair of the Bill Clark Wetland Pavilion's roofs and for the purposes. A resolution to authorize the use of eminent domain on the 13th Street Drainage Project and the Bowman Road Improvement Project and for other purposes, funding from the 3/8 capital improvement sales tax. A resolution to set October 6, 2020 as the date of public hearing to consider the issuance of Port Authority revenue bond in the maximum principal amount of $6 million for the purpose of financing capital improvements at the industrial park at the Port of Little Rock and for the purposes. A resolution to set October 6, 2020 as the date of public hearing to form and lay off Little Rock Municipal Property Owners Multipurpose Improvement District Number 2020-003, the LaMarche Village Project, and for other purposes. That concludes the consent agenda.
Move for the adoption of the consent agenda.
Second.
There's a motion and second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it.
Mayor?
Question?
No. Mayor, make a motion, we go into executive session to make commissions, boards, and appointments and discuss personnel matter.
Thank you so much. We'll now ask everyone in the room, due to our executive session, we should not take, shouldn't be longer than 15 to 20 minutes.
Mayor, we didn't approve the motion.
Did you get a second on that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you so much. There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I think the Director Wright.
Director Wright, seconded.
Oh, Director Wright second. So there's a motion and second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it.
I have a question.
You have a question, Director Hendricks?
Yeah, why are we going? Okay, you had to beg for a second. I want to know why you're going. What are you discussing?
We're going to executive session to discuss
For what
our
purpose?
boards and commissions. The board, we have to make some appointments. We shouldn't take too long, Director Hendricks.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll be to the public will be 15 minutes, and then we'll come back for citizens communication. So if the public will then excuse themselves for about 15 minutes. The board is now back from executive session. I will read the decisions that we made in regards to the executive session. We have appointed to the Commission on Children and Youth and Families Chrissy Chapman, Lisa Donovan, Matt Price, Marcus Williams. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. For the Americans with Disabilities Act Citizen Grievance Committee, we've appointed Aline Higgins. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. For the Land Bank Commission, we have appointed Natalie James. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, please say nay. For the Little Rock Water Reclamation Commission, we've appointed Deborah Schock. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. For the Oakland Fraternal Historic Cemetery Board, we've appointed Francis Ross and Carolyn Eastman. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. For the Historic District Commission, we've appointed Robert Hodge, Amber Jones, Mark Henson. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
For the Arkansas Arts Center, we've confirmed appointments of Lakita Brown, Kayam Eddings, Kathy Mayton, and Larry Middleton. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. We'll now move forward into citizens' communication. Judge Marion Humphrey.
Good evening, Mayor and board members. I'm here this evening out of concern for what I understand is a letter being circulated by about 10 members of the Little Rock Police Department concerning our chief. I want to state that as a resident of Little Rock, unlike 6 of the 10 who signed that letter. Hello?
Take your thing off. It's hard to hear you.
Okay. Thank you, Doc. I want to say as a resident of Little Rock, unlike 6 of the signatories to that letter, I think our chief is doing a wonderful job. He is restoring confidence in some areas of this community where people have not been heard. Our chief has been subjected to some rather harsh and incendiary criticism ever since he got here. There's been an effort to sabotage his leadership of the police department. And I've seen the letter stating that the department is dysfunctional. I don't see any difference between this department in terms of fighting crime than I've seen over the years when I have lived in Little Rock and served as a judge here for 22 years. I don't see that there is any diminution in the police efforts to fight crime. Chief Humphrey is an honorable man who had a distinguished record when he came to Little Rock, and there's nothing he's done since he's been here that makes that record any less distinguished. And that's why I think the mayor wisely chose him. And I think that if we do anything in this city, we need to pull this city together. And we can't have dictatorship from people who don't even bother to live in this city. And I know people say that they have reasons for moving out of the city of Little Rock. Well, some of us have reasons for staying here. We like Little Rock. We love Little Rock. And we think that the people who stay here and pay taxes, who work, who are citizens, should be listened to. And many of us like the thrust of this police chief. We like his involvement in the community, and we hope that this board will be fair to him as well as to those who have differences. All of us have differences of opinion, but we still try to work together, and we try to do it in a civil manner. And as far as many of these complainants are concerned, there's justification in any action that the chief has taken. Many of them have filed grievances in our courts, and the courts are equipped to handle the issues that they have raised. And I think that they should go forth with their lawsuits.
Judge Humphrey, we have a 3-minute time.
Yes, sir. I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judge Humphrey. A.B. Stewart.
Good evening, Mayor and Directors. My name is A.B. Stewart. I'm the Program Director of a state AmeriCorps program called Full Circle Farm Corps. I'm joined by one of our National Service members.
I'm Tamara Bakes.
How many of you have heard of AmeriCorps? Yes, excellent. So it's a national service organization now about 25 years old. Members serve a term of service much like the military or the Peace Corps. How many know that Little Rock is currently the #1 small AmeriCity in the country? All right, so that's a claim to fame, Little Rock. For cities under 250,000, we produce the most AmeriCorps members. We beat out Providence, Rhode Island, for instance. I'll turn it over to Tap.
All right, and so the mission of the Farm Corps is to promote food security, also to strengthen communities through community gardening, but also just to make sure that we teach children the importance of gardening and growing their own fresh food and fresh vegetables to eat. And as you can see, I lost a few little pounds. I've been eating a lot of good vegetables in the garden this past summer, so it's pretty awesome. And another thing is about growing food, teaching the nutrition, because nutrition is important. And I also believe that your zip code shouldn't determine that you have access to fresh fruits and vegetables.
So beginning in January 2020, 28 National Service members have been serving at 14 sites throughout Pulaski County. That includes the Hunger Relief Alliance, Dunbar and Woodruff Community Gardens, Heifer International, Children's Hospital, the university, etc. As these members graduate at the end of September, I just wanted to take a moment to recognize the service of these members who've taken on a commitment to serve our city at a very challenging time. Major accomplishments have included supporting the harvest of 136,000 pounds of produce. A lot of that is the Hunger Relief Alliance watermelons. Nearly 600 volunteers recruited for 2,300 volunteer hours. 22,000 member hours, which equates to more than 10 full-time employees. And in the words of one of our supervisors, I couldn't do it without Farm Corps. So if we could just please give a round of applause to Farm Corps. TAP is one representative of 28 members.
And I will also like to just ask if you would find it in your heart to just come and learn more about what we're doing. We have harvest days. You can come pick some food with us, come and pick herbs. We have a lot of, if you love basil, rosemary, put in your water. It's just a pretty cool thing to learn and grow your food. And when you're teaching someone to grow their food, it's a great opportunity for them to understand what you're putting into your body. So thank you.
Tamara, we have a 3-minute limit, but thank you so much, and AmeriCorps really do appreciate you. Everybody, let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you.
Jackie Kaufman.
Hello, Mayor and directors. My name is Jackie Kaufman, and I'm the finance officer at Christ the King Church and School here in Little Rock. And today at our school board meeting, we were talking about the highway department project that's going on close to our parish and school. And we wondered, is there going to be an impact on the traffic in the near future for our parish and school? So that is a question for the board. Thank you so much.
I know, did John leave? Honeywell? Ms. Kaufman, our our public works staff has worked very closely with the highway department, and so we'll get your information from the card, and we'll follow up. We'll have staff follow up with you all to kind of go over sort of the potential impacts.
Okay.
Bruce?
Thank you so much.
Bruce, I can say a couple of words
Yep.
about that. Hi, I'm Cappy Peck. I'm the city director for Ward 4. I'm very familiar with this project. And you probably are aware that that stretch is the busiest intersection in the entire state, something like 55,000 cars. It should alleviate a lot of the traffic problems that we're having now, especially between Pleasant Valley and Sandpeck Road. Eventually, this is going to extend to Taylor Loop. There's another project that will happen sometime in the very near future, and that's the widening of North Rodney Parham, which I know goes right by you too. But I'm hoping that a lot of the people that cut through now to avoid all of that traffic jam, once we have the flyover, won't have to do that. It's probably not the right lingo that John Honeywell would use, but for what it's worth, that's what I can tell you.
Okay.
But we'll get some more information for you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kaufman. Max Campbell.
Hello, I'm Max Campbell. Most of you probably know why I'm here at this point. I'm going to start off by letting the board know that I've got more than usual to say today. I might go a few seconds over the 3-minute time limit. And as I was denied my rights to speak at last meeting, where parliamentary procedure of this board was clearly violated in order to silence myself and several others, I hope that the board understands and accepts this. To remind you, I'm advocating for the following platform: more police budget dedicated to training and crime prevention, more investment in emergency and social services to handle nonviolent calls, no more militarization of police forces, permanent firing of officers who show a pattern of excessive force or racism, external reviews of officer misconduct by an independent agency, no more paid leave for officers under investigation for excessive use of force, and timely release of documents related to police misconduct. Honestly, the way the board conducted itself at last meeting was shameful. Like I said, the rights of myself and several other citizens to speak freely and petition our leaders was disregarded. I'm well aware that Mayor Scott ended the citizens' communications segment in a manner that was against the rules of the board's procedure, which requires the matter to be voted on, and if the mayor fails to do this, then it is the city attorney's job to notify him, which also failed to happen. I'd say this is even worthy of something like a lawsuit if the demands of the citizens continue to be ignored and disregarded. It's clear that many people have come forward about these issues and they've continued to be ignored. So now I'd like to address a couple of people in particular. Director Hines, Lance Hines? Yes, hi there. You were recently quoted saying we have one of the best police forces, not only in the state, but in the nation. Have you seen the things this police department has done and gotten away with? Like, have you actually seen the records? I'm gonna assume you haven't, because the alternative that you do know and don't care is a lot worse to consider. Director Joan Adcock, hello Joan, has also recently given statements unequivocally supporting our police forces. Joan, you are also complicit in this problem. Listen to some of these acts committed by LRPD in the past several years and tell me that there's no problem. Oh, okay, great. Well, listen up closely. Police shooting, victim shot, 43-year-old, botched entry raid during drug raid, clearly fudged reports. LRPD investigation exonerated. Police shooting, victim killed, another shot in the face after claims they were burglary suspects. Someone was shot 16 times in a residential area, including several times at unarmed occupants, and another after he tried to flee the scene. LRPD investigation exonerated. Police shooting, victim killed after struggle with officer, entered his home without warrant or emergency. Lesher admitted the victim had a legal right to shut his door and that he walked home because the victim got mouthy. He assaulted this man and walked in the room because he was mouthy. And he admits that he could have walked away rather than shoot the victim. There are multiple violations, including improper uniform, no discipline. Director Hines, do you want to guess how this was handled? He was exonerated, again. Police shooting, victim shot, passenger shot in the face after report.
Mr. Campbell, Mr. Campbell, your 3 minutes is up. Thank you so much.
Director Scott, you cannot flaunt parliamentary procedure and then follow up when
Mr. Campbell,
it suits you.
You are now done. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate you so much. Director Fortson, I believe, was that for the previous, on the Highway 10? Was that, you made a ping to Ally?
We finished with that. I have a question.
Mayor, I had that email.
Oh, yes, you have another email. Sorry. Thank you so much, Madam Clerk.
This is from an email from Tanya Holofield. It says, "To whom it may concern, I've been working for criminal justice reform for the past 5 years, and I strongly support reform of the police department. I am a respected and dedicated participant in bettering my community in the Capitol View neighborhood, and I feel that a restructured system could provide better services and hence reduce the crime of the things I support. Of the things I support are, 1, no further militarization of the police, and I would like the police to demilitarize from where they are now. Number 2, I would like more money to be redistributed to crime prevention and training and education that goes beyond guns and teaches de-escalation techniques. I personally had a bad experience in domestic violence situations in which police were woefully trained to deal with and navigate people to get help, which would mean greater investment in emergency and social services. And 3, more transparency and external reviews of police wrongdoings and timely release of documents related to police shootings and other events. I ask that you strongly take action on this issue for the people of Little Rock."
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. Director Fortson.
Yeah, I had a question on a totally different subject. I had a couple of inquiries, and evidently one of the Little Rock TV stations last night ran a story, but the question of caravanning was a serious problem out at Park Plaza and along University, but I've heard not much about it lately. But then I understand that it's become now a serious problem in the Broadway, Quapaw Quarter area. And I'd like to say that I heard one of the TV stations ran quite a story on it last night. If you or Mr. Moore could fill us in on that.
Sure. There was an issue, I believe, this past weekend. Our LRPD leadership is working on a plan to address it moving forward. It's been addressed. As you know, we had some issues on the Asher corridor, and that has been addressed, and we are going to be addressing that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director Fortson. Any other questions? Director Webb? Then we have, after Director Webb, Director Richardson.
I'll go after Director Richardson.
Director Webb?
Yes, sir. Thank you. To follow up on Director Fortson's question, he was accurate that temporarily the issue was sort of corrected at Park Plaza, but it's back again and on Markham in Mississippi, and down on Cantrell and in Riverdale. So it's really getting more widespread rather than less. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Director Richardson?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I too want to understand and appreciate the concern about the caravanning, but it would really help me out a lot to have the same kind of concern for the homicides that are happening disproportionately to certain people in our certain places. And having worked with young people over 25 years, I find it quite ironic that when we have these kinds of upticks in homicides, we don't have the same kind of concern and/or discussion. So I would like for us to make sure we keep that on the front of our agenda and make sure that that's a part of what we're talking about and discussing, because when we have these upticks, and they're happening in certain places in our community, you can draw a box around it, and you can look at demographically and tell who the suspects and perpetrators are. I would like to have the same attention given to those homicides in our community as we are given to the caravan.
Okay. Thank you so much. Director Hines?
Thank you, Mayor.
After Director Hines, we do have Director Adcock, Webb, then Director Wright. Just going in order.
Mayor, I will speak for myself. We all received a letter today from command staff at LRPD. I know that you said you were going to be crafting a response. That letter was addressed to all of us, yourself and the board included. I will give you my statement. I have already been very vocal, and that I have a lack of faith and support that Chief Keith Humphrey can continue to lead the LRPD. when a chief becomes bigger news than the department itself, it's time to make a change. I respectfully ask you to remove Chief Humphrey from his command position at LRPD. That'll be my statement on the letter today.
Thank you, Director Hines. I respectfully decline. Director Webb. All right. Director Adcock.
Yes. Mayor, I asked a week ago, I believe, or 2 weeks ago, for you to give us an update on the amount of money that we have made off of charging people for the extra pickups with the large pickups at their homes. Today, I got 2 letters from individuals. One, a man cut a tree down, and he was told it's going to cost him $500 on his water bill to get that tree removed. I've given it to you and asked you to please check it. But I went to a luncheon today at Lifeline Baptist Church, and one thing that was most obvious is people's neighborhoods are getting trashed by all of these extra piles that are not being picked up. I also gave you another lady's letter that a business had moved it down, a pile of brush down the street to a vacant lot, and it has been there since March. And they would love to have it picked up. And there's no water on the vacant lot, so we've not picked it up. But more and more, we're hearing from neighborhood people that their neighborhoods are getting trashed by all of this stuff left in their neighborhood. So I would like to know, how much money have we made off of our neighborhoods being trashed? Thank you.
I'll get that information, and please, if I don't know if that information, I'll look into that. That's news to us because our men and women of the Public Works Department have been actively working, and I believe you know how hard they work. So thank you for sharing that.
And I agree they're working.
Thank you for sharing that, and we'll look into it.
I agree
Director
they're working
Wright?
very hard, but our neighborhoods are looking very bad.
Thank you. Director Wright?
Thank you, Mayor. On the issue of the caravanning, I still have an issue, Mayor, on Ludwig Street. As soon as the community resource officers were pulled out, the problem that we're having over there came back. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. And regarding the condition of our neighborhoods, I did receive a letter from some concerned citizens about Barrow Road, 36th Street, and Canis. And I had previously submitted those, Mr. Moore, for cleanup. And I was told that due to COVID that we are no longer having the crews out. I still would like a way to address that, because it is getting, the paper is just, people, it flies out of people's cars, and it's just trashy looking. So I do want to bring that to your attention. Barrow Road, the entire length, 36th Street in particular, from Colonel Glenn all the way to Shackelford, and Canis Road, from Barrow down to Rodney Parham. Those are the hot spots. And there appears to be an area up behind Shoppers Value that the homeless are using as a dump site, because it appears the stuff just keep accumulating there. And I had turned that in many times before, and it has never been addressed. So the letter stated that this is a concern, and if you'd like, I can provide you with the letter.
Thank you so much. Director Peck?
I will be very brief. I've gotten a couple of letters from some constituents about the lime green scooters that disappeared for a while but came back. I'm not sure why they disappeared, and just asking if we might think about not allowing them on sidewalks, especially downtown. There have been some incidents. One constituent was actually hit by a lime scooter, and then another person was saying that they were often saw them at handicap ramps or blocking the bridge when they were cycling, and that they're just, kind of here and there scattered all over town. Not necessarily objecting to them, but especially for safety concerns, forbidding them to be ridden
And Mayor,
Appreciate it.
just as a reminder, that ordinance that your senior advisor, Kendra Pruitt, has been working on with Tom will be on the agenda on September 29th and October 6th.
Thank you so much for that reminder. Any more questions from board members? Seeing none, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
There's a motion second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it.